Hi. Welcome to the stream. Sorry I didn't go live yesterday when the stream was originally planned, but I ended up having a really bad headache, so we're doing it tonight. So we are going to talk about the whole Rockelle Piper situation. But first, really quick, I do want to react to my last live stream where I went onto the Shut Up Fatty panel. Not the whole thing, of course, just a wee bit of it. And we're gonna do that super quick before we do the Rockelle stuff, because I think it's just a perfect example of just how disingenuous some of these people are, and it honestly pisses me off. So that's what we're going to cover first. It's going to be super quick. I don't want to talk about it very long, and then we're going to cover the Rockelle Piper interview. Please hit the like and all that jazz too. Alright, so that's not right. Oh. Okay. There. Okay, so I'm gonna start from this point, and like I said, we're only gonna react to a couple minutes of this because I think it's just a perfect example of the hypocrisy and just honestly disingenuousness, if that's a word. Alright, so they literally titled the video so you can't see the first part, but it says Jazz, who is right here. It says Jazz, the woman next to me. Jazz and Ghosty don't expect men to give their life for them. Ladies first. So the prompt that I got when I was invited to the panel was, it was basically, hold on, I'll read it to you like literally verbatim. It was, should men give their life away for their woman? Is that real love? So what they're talking about is like, should men basically sacrifice themselves to save women? The initial prompt was about their specific women. So like, should, for example, like, should a husband take a bullet for his wife? And the first woman to answer was Deb here in the pink. And she was like, no, I really just don't expect that. I don't think men should do that. People should like look after themselves first, that kind of thing. And then Jazz answered and she said basically the same thing. And then I answered and I was like, I expect reasonable protection from a guy that I'm in a long-term committed relationship with, but I don't expect him to literally like jump in front of a bullet for me. If one of us is gonna die, like I just don't expect someone to give up their life for me in that way. I expect him to protect me, again, like in a reasonable manner. Like if I'm getting attacked and he has the ability to help me, yeah, I expect him to jump in and protect me. For obvious reasons, men are stronger, more physically capable, just like are honestly harder to kill, but like etc. So those were our answers. But this was not acceptable for the panel. Ali over here kept calling me a liar, as he does every single time I go on his panel. Every time I give an answer, he calls me a liar. He doesn't believe me, which is really fucking frustrating because I'm like, literally, why do I come here if you're just gonna deny everything I have to say? It's kind of pointless. So, alright, so we're just gonna watch a couple minutes of this to point out just how fucking stupid, just how frustrating this is. Here, well, you'll see.
Yeah, man, it's crazy as to how
Okay, and also just real quick context, this Mr. Fantastic guy, he sorry, let me Self-Will Speller. He jumped on the panel late, so we have been talking at this point for 2 hours about this topic, and Mr. Fantastic just jumped in, so he's jumping in late, and we just got done talking about that the majority of men won't stop to help a stranger. Like, say a woman is on the side of the road with a flat tire. Most men aren't going to pull over to help her. And none of the women were even shaming them or saying that's necessarily a bad thing. All I expect from people is to call the police. I don't expect people to put their life or their safety at risk for a stranger, but I do expect people to at least call the police or get help. So, and I do think there is honor for people that do jump in and protect the more vulnerable people. I think that's super honorable, but I don't expect that. I don't expect strangers to risk their lives and their well-being for other strangers. So anyways, so that's where the context starts.
When the men want anything out of the situation, and it's clearly not always sex. A man, I ain't never seen a dude, help a woman dodge a bullet or pull her out of the street from getting hit by a car. It's like, hey, where's that head at? Okay, how are we doing this? Missionary or doggy style? Y'all got to stop this shit, man. Like, for real. Y'all literally just said, oh, a man isn't willing to lay his life on the line for a complete stranger strictly based off his gender, and you're questioning his character. He's a bad man because you're a stranger. He's supposed to risk his life. He don't know you from nothing. You in it with a man, and what we know, ain't no man hitting a woman in public for the first time. Okay, if he hitting her in public, he definitely hitting her in the house. So why the hell? And we've seen the countless number of stories of men that have lost their life interjecting themselves into domestic violence situations. Okay, call the cops, get some mace, get a gun. That's, hey,
didn't we say that we don't expect y'all to put our? Didn't we say we don't expect that from?
Right. No. Right. So Jazz is correctly jumping in here and saying none of the women said we expect men to risk their lives for especially women they don't know. And this is his reaction. None of us have shamed any, like,
nobody said that.
No, but it's a lie.
Hold on.
Can you hear Ali saying, no, but it's a lie. It's a lie. So we've just been lying for the whole past 2 hours. 3 women who, by the way, don't know each other and gave the same answer. I honestly, I don't know Deb, but when she went first, I was expecting her to say yes. Yes, I expect a man to protect me and to take a bullet for me. That was just my assumption. And I was completely wrong. She was like, no, don't do that. Like, it's not worth it. That's straight up what she said. She was like, it might be, kind of cruel or fucked up to say, but, don't risk your life for a girlfriend. Just get another one. She literally said that. And I already had my answer planned out because I'd been thinking about it, and I was like, no, I really don't expect a guy to give his life for me. I expect reasonable protection, but not to literally sacrifice his life for me. So, but Ali is just calling all 3 of us liars. We have no reason to lie about this. So I don't even know why he thinks we're lying, but it's just, he thinks we're lying because it's just always women have to be the bad ones. Women can't have any good qualities. We're always have the narcissistic, super selfish, man-hating characteristics. That's what fits Ali's world. So our answers don't fit his narrative.
Yeah, no, you were literally challenging it. Hold on. Daddy had to knock it down to something that is changing a tire, because you guys were saying, oh, a man's not gonna put his life on the line like he's supposed to. You're not supposed to.
Yes.
I'm not
No,
supposed
no, we were just saying
are.
the simple fact that lots of men. It's Fatty was saying this is what men do, and we were saying
and they
we
do.
actually in our own lives have seen that most men, for the majority part, just like kind of walk by. There
I
are
got
men
you.
who
I
do
got you.
do
Now,
that,
hold on.
who
Let me
do
interject.
protect
No,
women
I
sometimes,
got
but
you. I
lots of
got
times
you.
people just
I
they'll
got
record
you.
it
And this
or
is
leave.
why. And this is why you
Notice him interjecting and interrupting. By the way, just that's gonna play a huge part in this.
get nasty comments because you see me trying to interject and keep talking. This is why men.
So one more time, he was done talking. I jumped in to correct him and tell him what happened because he just jumped on the panel late. So he clearly wasn't caught up. And I was explaining that Fatty was saying that it's normal in society for men to save women, to help women. And me and Jazz were basically saying, like, in the real world, men don't stop to help a woman change her tire. Men don't jump in domestic abuse situations that are happening in the street or something that's happening in a bar. I've seen these situations. I've literally been in these situations and people literally walk by. I was helped one time by it was actually a guy and a girl, and they were neighbors, and they came down together to interrupt a fight that was going on between me and my boyfriend. But yeah, what we're saying is that men typically don't do that, but we weren't saying that they're supposed to. That's where he's getting it wrong. Neither of us said they're supposed to, because I honestly don't really have that expectation for people to jump into stranger situations. I do expect people to call the police, though.
Talk shit to you the way they do, right? So
anyways, he goes, this is why you get nasty comments and people talk shit to you the way you do, because you interjected when he was literally interrupting me for half of my statement. Let me go back a little bit.
Expect y'all to put our. Didn't we say we don't expect that from?
Right,
No,
none of
it's
us
It's a
have
lie.
shamed
No,
any, like,
Nobody
lie.
said that.
no,
No,
well,
but it's a lie.
hold
But
on.
it's a lie.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not a
you were
lie.
literally
It
challenging it. Hold on.
What?
Daddy had to knock it down to something that is changing a tire, because you guys were saying, oh, a man's not gonna put his life on the line like he's supposed to. You're not supposed to.
Yes.
I'm not supposed
we were just saying the simple fact that lots of men. It's Fatty was saying this is what men do, and we were saying
And they
we
do.
actually in our own lives have seen that most men, for the majority part, just like kind of walk by. There are
got
men
you.
who
I
do
got
do
you. Now,
that,
hold on,
who
let me
do
interject.
protect
No,
women
I
sometimes,
got you.
but lots
I
of
got
times
you.
people just
I
they'll
got
record
you,
it
and this
or
is
leave.
why, and this is why you get nasty comments, because you see me trying to interject and keep talking. This is why men talk shit to you the way they do, right? So I understand.
Well,
your point.
you're
Well, it's really
saying
my
what we
time. I'm
said.
just getting here, and now you're trying to overtalk me. But we can have a dialogue.
I'm
with
just
them, right?
correcting you. Go.
Well,
go
you're not
ahead.
correcting anything, and I'm about to show you why you're incorrect. So again, the way you're even framing it and looking at it is you say, oh, well, most men don't do anything, okay? In a deadly situation where there's a woman getting something done to her. Well, who are the most people that do step in and do something? If a woman's getting her ass whooped by a man, and Fatty gave you the perfect example, in a barbershop or somewhere there's a group of men, those group of men will come out and handle that man for abusing a woman, regardless of what the point is. It's not going to be women that step in and try to challenge a man.
So, and we've already said it's more likely going to be a man, but the reason we even contended with that point a little bit was because it kind of depends on the situation. Like, lots of times if a woman is getting, specifically at like the bar, club, party scene, if a woman is getting like sexually harassed, or a guy is being aggressive with a woman at that type of scene, lots of times it is women who step in, who pretend to be like her friend, or just jump in general to give her backup. Lots of times women do step in those situations. But obviously when it comes to physical violence, yeah, it's going to be lots of times men who jump in because they have the capability to actually protect somebody and fight. But like, even then, how many times have you heard guys be like, women need to stop jumping in fights? Like if a woman jumps in a fight, expect to get hit, which, like, by the way, I don't even necessarily disagree with. You're kind of jumping into a violent situation. Lots of times people don't even know like where arms are throwing. But anyways, so like how many times have we heard that? Like, I'm just saying, either way, it's the minority of people who step in. It might be slightly more likely for a man to jump in, and definitely more likely in a violent situation. But if a woman is in trouble, there are lots of times where women step in. So it's like the only reason me and Jazz contended with that point. And like even in violent situations, because lots of times, like especially if it's a domestic violence situation, as soon as someone even just walks up, like in my situation when my boyfriend was fighting with me in the street, the couple who walked up didn't like start fighting him. All they had to do was confront him, and that alone was enough to make him embarrassed to stop what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like lots of times that's how that goes. So yeah, women, it doesn't necessarily have to be jumping into a physical fight. Just confronting the person can stop it. But I understand that that's dangerous. So again, I don't expect that from anyone, man or woman. And that's what we've been saying this whole time.
A man that's being aggressive or violent towards a woman. So of course, even though 99% of men won't step in and they'll keep on going, the people that do step in is going to be 99% men, is what we're saying. That's the fact. All right then. So
and like I don't agree with the 99% thing, but I'm not gonna like start fighting him on fucking little things, because it doesn't go anywhere. It honestly doesn't. They're stuck in their beliefs, like whatever. So I just let it go, because it is probably, again, I agree, it's probably the majority going to be men.
You're proving my point as to you framed it the one way but not the other way.
Well,
so even
no,
in
we
the
just
case
said
where
most people don't.
Okay, well, again, most people don't. But of the small people that do, who are the people that do it?
It's probably majority men.
Yeah, so now it's probably majority. So now it's probably, but we already know that
I'm not
men.
putting down men for any of this.
The fact that you can't even say that it's men, and you probably sort of.
Because I literally don't know. I said probably the majority men. But again, I have seen lots of times women step in to help women. Women step in to help other women in difficult situations. And Jazz said the same exact thing. So, I don't fucking know. Literally just said it's majority men.
No, you just said it's probably sort of.
Most men don't, though. Like most people don't.
Understand that. I understand that. Most people don't have fucking 40-inch verticals. But those that do, hold on.
So we agree.
Right.
No, we don't agree.
Listen, Fantastic. I'm here. Hear me out, babe. This is what I'm saying. We both said that, yes, there are a minority. You're speaking to the minority of men that will come out and protect. Because you said 99% of men will not. But the 1%, which is what we were talking about earlier, was that, yeah, there are a minority of men that may come to our rescue.
Which makes the majority of what? Now, hold on.
What I'm saying is,
I'm listening. You're not listening to me. Now, I'm going to ask you the other part of the question.
See, who's interrupting, by the way?
So, listen. So, the minority of men may not come to save you, but the majority of people that come to save you are going to be what?
The minority of the people that come to save a woman are going to be men.
Thank you.
What?
No, the majority.
The majority
of people that come to save a woman.
She means the majority of the minority. They're
It's going to be a man. Even if we're talking from a professional standpoint.
The 1%. The 1%.
Hold on. And again, 100% of the 1% are men, or 99%.
It's not 100%. It is 100%, not 100%.
100% of the 1% are men. Police officers who? Stop. Police officers who? Men. Paramedics who? Men.
That doesn't count. If it's your job, that doesn't count. And by the way, 100% of police officers are not men. And lots of times in domestic violence situations, women are also often involved in those specific divisions in police departments.
Men. So even the roles, actual careers, to where if you need help with somebody and somebody has to come save you,
Well,
men.
it could be a man and woman when it comes to policing and firefighting. But I get your point.
No, again,
When it
very,
comes to
very
the
small
average
percentage.
Joe,
Very small
when it comes
percentage.
when it comes to the average Joe, that's not a police officer, that's not a firefighter, just the average man, that 1%, like you said, is going to be majority of men that come to the protection of a minority of women. So we were saying the same thing though. That's why I'm like, why are we fighting?
We were literally saying that. We were.
We literally were.
I'm the first person.
We just wanted to fight, but it's okay.
But should they? But Fanta, ask them, if y'all said you don't expect a man to put his life on the line for you in 2026, where y'all asked to be equal to men and be treated equal to men and have the same options, should you have to be protected by men? Like, is that our obligation to protect you? Should we have to protect you?
No, I don't think strangers are obligated to protect other people. I think they are obligated to call the police potentially.
Right. So this is
actually putting themselves in harm's way. Right. No, I don't think they're obligated to.
Moving forward,
society. Ali, I'll give you the space to land, but it's a societal expectation, because even like 2 days ago, there was a female trucker that like was having problems because of snow, and she was berating the men that were just sitting there and weren't helping her unload the truck. And she was like, look at these men. They don't make real men as he used before. Let the woman, and she's a female trucker. So there's still a societal expectation, even from strangers, to help the damsel in distress once she actually is in trouble. This happens every day. Go ahead, Ali. I'm sorry. Yeah. And then the real Ali with the question, please.
No, and it's a good point you're making. Like, the women are asking to be adults. The women are asking to be strong and independent. The women say they can do it better all by themselves. But then eventually when they get a man, they'll say they'd rather go 100% by themselves than 50-50. They don't want to actually take the trash out. They don't want to actually work. They don't want to actually be obligated.
Women 100% do these things. And lots of them don't mind or want
to even to be a woman for their family. But once you have to start doing the things that men do, a lot of women wanted it as an option. That's not what they wanted as an obligation. They run away from it. But another thing I was going to point out as well too, when we talking about when I brought up patriarchy, Jazz, I only brought it up when I was talking about how you talk about the patriarchy, right? But I give you an example how y'all say one thing and then go to another thing. Y'all are literally say patriarchy doesn't let men express themselves, let us tell the truth, or let us cry, especially the young boys. But women don't let us either when it's time for us to actually be honest to you and express ourselves to you. Women will say it to sound like they are allies, but soon as men create platforms like this one to tell women in the world the truth and level the playing field when it comes to these relationships, since you fought for equality and 50-50, now you say we're not real men for it. But you don't want to fight to open up doors. You don't want to go, fight for die for us. You don't want to fight to pay the bills. You don't want to fight for being mechanics. You don't want to fight to be the plumbers. You don't want to fight to be like electricians. And since we having these honest conversations,
women are, though. Like, again, it's still the minority of these women doing these jobs, but they're actually talking about societal conditioning when they're talking about the society expecting men to jump in. So societal conditioning has affected women in the same way to not enter these typically man-dominated fields. It's the same shit, and shit's changing. And women, there are movements in the construction field and shit like that to like help women get better respect and whatever. But anyways,
women are electrics.
Let me land, please. Please let me land, please. Y'all didn't even listen to the point. Once we try to level the playing field of relationships within itself, when y'all ask to be 50-50 and we point out the fact you don't want to do all the other things men say you should do, we're toxic, we're sassy, we're gay, who hurt you? But we're not even asking for equality from y'all. Y'all are asking to be equal to us. When we just asking y'all to be women, but y'all don't use, my point is this, y'all don't use feminism.
Yeah, please make your point, because he just rambles, and he does this every fucking time.
To fight for men and for true equality. Women fight for power and equity with no responsibility at all. And like I said before, you'll try to fight for the option.
It's just words. Literally just words.
To act like a man, but at the same time still refusing to be the woman we're asking for. You're asking to be 50-50, but you're not doing both parts. You don't want to be a traditional.
What does this have to do with the conversation? What does this have to do with us not expecting men to give their lives for us? I'm so confused. He's just rambling. All right, we're almost done with this clip, I promise.
A woman, then when you said, okay, go be a traditional man, since you asked for 50-50, you will cry about actually having to be a man and have to be treated like a man. You'll look for a man to come protect you and save you.
What is acting like a man?
We're doing the literal opposite of what traditional women, like
a
traditional woman would expect a man to die for her.
She asked me a question. That's what I mean, Jazz. You asked me a question. Y'all fought to go to work because you said you needed an option to be at work.
Is being a man.
Can I? You see how y'all both interrupt? This is what I mean. Remember when y'all said y'all want?
Dude, he's such a little baby. He does this every fucking time. He's such a little fucking baby.
Man to communicate and be emotionally available. Y'all don't want to. And it's like you fight. Y'all want no, it's not a conversation. You're not even both of y'all.
You've been monologuing for 5 minutes.
I'm not monologuing, Ghosty. You do this before too. Y'all don't want to be actual men. Because in real life, you get knocked out.
We can't even fucking respond to you.
If y'all did stuff
We're not even allowed to respond.
If you actually got treated like a man and y'all interrupt like this the way y'all do with men, you would get knocked out. Y'all don't want to be men.
What does that say about men?
Y'all want power from men. This is what I mean. No, listen.
Ali is such a little baby that if a man interrupts him, he knocks him out. Okay, I guess that's being a man. It's fucking crazy.
Listen, no matter how our delivery is, you will still cut us off. Y'all are both cutting me, co-signing with each other. Y'all are only doing this because we're not saying what you want to hear while pretending to be what you say you're not.
No, we're not saying what he wants to hear. We're literally just saying we don't expect men to give their lives for us. And somehow that's a problem. It's like he just argues to argue. And this is why I'm showing this clip, because it's a perfect example of him arguing to argue and getting mad over nothing and being completely disingenuous.
You're not who you say you are. If you truly want to be this traditional man, if you truly want to be equal, if you truly want to have this power, then hold your nuts when you finally encounter a man and you have to be a man. Y'all don't want to be men. So again, I will give an example again. Y'all fought hard to work because you didn't want to be mothers or traditional women at work, which was the job. But once you went to work, you wanted.
Again, it's not because we didn't want to be mothers. It's because we wanted equal opportunity and self-stability. We wanted protection for ourselves. We didn't want to have to rely on somebody else. Which, if you ask any man, how would you feel if you had to rely on another person? They would cope and say, oh yeah, I would love that. No, they fucking wouldn't.
To be an option. You fought so hard to be so-called mothers to return back to motherhood. You still want to break from that. When it comes to protecting and providing, when it comes time for you to fight, you'll still look for a man to fight for you, and you'll still look for a man to delete somebody off this earth.
Even though we just said we didn't. So he's just like fighting ghosts.
Y'all are asking so hard to be men, but
we're not asking for that though. That's what this whole conversation is. We're not asking for men to protect us.
It's envy. You are. You're
That's
lying.
What this whole conversation has been for the past 2 hours.
Y'all been lying for the past 2 hours.
Again, the title of the video is Jazz and Ghosty don't expect men to give their lives for them. And we've been talking about it for 2 fucking hours. But he just assumes we're lying. So he's going on this fucking monologue. This is why it's fucking disingenuous, because we can't have an actual conversation if he's just talking to a fucking ghost. He's not talking to me or Jazz or Deb. He's talking to a fucking ghost, because none of us have been giving the answer that he's responding to. All right, we're almost done, I promise.
Hours. That's what you're doing.
See, exactly. Ali, every single time I come on this panel, everything I say, you tell me I'm lying. I literally wonder, why do I even come here if you don't believe anything I'm saying, ever?
So if me and you were together and somebody came to us and said, hey, man, one of y'all got to go. One of y'all got to put a gun to your head and take your life. Who's supposed to take their life?
I'm sorry, what?
Who would be inspected if we're right now, we got caught up in some cartel and they say, hey, since y'all passed this line, one of y'all have to take this gun and blow your head off. Who's expected to blow their head off?
I'm not expecting you to volunteer to have your head blown off for a stranger.
And that's why we can't have this conversation with y'all.
He's not saying it's strange. He's saying y'all in a relationship.
No, we're in a relationship. Me and you in a relationship, and we crossed the wrong. We went to the wrong place. Something happened. There's something happened a long time ago in Mexico. People crossed the border and got their heads blown off. I'm asking you this, Go Steve. We're together in a relationship.
So he wants me to be like, honestly, if I was in that situation, I love my boyfriend so fucking much. I don't want to see him die in front of me. I also don't want to die. I'm not gonna volunteer my fucking boyfriend's life and be like, him, choose him. Or be like, babe, can you please die for me? I would never fucking do that. Ever. That's insane. I don't, like, first of all, I don't want that on my conscience. I don't want my boyfriend to die, so I'm not gonna be like, pick him. I'm just not gonna do that. It's a fucked up situation. And what the fuck kind of situation is this anyways? Oh, a cartel gets us and they're like, one of you has to die. Pick. It's the most fucking ridiculous, unrealistic situation ever. Like, it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's just really fucking retarded. All right, we're almost done, I promise. This was the crazy part that I really wanted to show how disingenuous these people are.
And we crossed the border wrongfully in somebody's territory, and they go, one of y'all have to blow your head off for trespassing, and which one is going to be? Who is supposed to blow their head off, me or you?
I don't know. I don't expect him to just volunteer himself. And like, honestly, it's a fucked up situation.
You're lying. I'm expected to blow my head off as a man in this society worldwide.
That's the society you want to live in. That's the sexist society that you want to live in. That's the one that we're trying to leave.
You talk to interrupt. You don't talk to make a point because you don't make a point.
I didn't just make a point. The point I'm making is the conservative women that they want us to be would say, oh yeah, the man is supposed to volunteer to blow his head off. 100%. That's what the conservative women would say, right? Well, guess what? I'm a liberal, and I don't believe in that fucking, like, oh, I'm a girl, so, you know, I'm more valuable because I can make babies or whatever. And I don't even think they believe that. So I don't understand the point. I understand that society might say, oh, it's expected for the man to do that. But he's asking me personally, correct? And my answer is, I wouldn't immediately be like, oh yeah, babe, you're gonna get your head blown off for me, right? Like, no, I literally would be like, it's up to the cartel person because fuck this. Fuck this fucking cartel person. Like, I don't want to watch my boyfriend die.
You talk to interrupt.
You just don't listen.
Watch. I'm going to let you land, and when I go to talk, you're going to interrupt me, but you might not because I try to make a point so you can be right. So you make your point and disprove what I just said, the fact that we're obligated to blow our heads off. You're not.
So what I just said is, I don't even remember what I just said.
I know, because you just wanted to interrupt me. I told you
No, because you talk so fucking much and you jump around.
You made my point. You couldn't make
You interrupted my response. I said, I don't expect him, like, it's a fucked up situation. I'm not gonna, like, I literally just don't expect that. I don't expect him to volunteer me. I don't expect him to be like, oh, choose her. But I'm not going to be like, oh, choose him either. Like, it's just like.
And why is that not an acceptable answer? Why don't y'all just believe we are saying we don't expect y'all to die for us? Because we really generally don't.
Because
but you know what? Usually when people, when someone usually always thinks someone else is lying, that usually means they're the ones that's always lying. It's just projection. Because I don't understand why y'all just can't accept the fact that we don't expect y'all to die. We want y'all to live and live for us.
If Fantastic, before you go, one second, Fantastic, before you go, they expect us to do that shit on panels to crash out for them. When Pearly came around, you and Tyrion was like, y'all going to let her do that? Y'all going to let it do? Y'all are going to say that even on panels. Y'all expecting us to crash out for y'all. If a white person comes around, y'all expecting that man to go.
I literally never expect anyone to defend me on a panel. I'm usually arguing with everybody. Like, usually it's like 6v1. So here I actually have one person on my side, Jazz. That's literally a super rare instance. So I don't know who the fuck he's talking to, but...
Go ahead and crash out for y'all. If your boyfriend abuse you, you're expecting the brother and the daddy to go ahead and like you do it. And now all of a sudden, oh, me? I don't know what y'all talking.
Also, in abusive relationships, most people don't even tell their family. So that's also not true. There might be some instances where some guy gets out of line, maybe they're not dating, and she's like, oh, I'll have my brother fuck you up. I feel like that's a little bit, I guess it's not that much different. I don't have any siblings, so I can't really speak on that. I don't know how often that happens. I don't know how often that's just used as a threat. Lots of times, like, dads will volunteer themselves in these situations, so yeah, I don't know. I just, like, are we having a conversation about us or about society? They're asking us personally, right? And again, they're responding to ghosts.
Talking about, I'll never do that.
And
You
know
do
what?
it. You already did it.
Hey, fantastic. You can take right. How many times women go, ain't nobody asked you to do that. You ain't have to do that, but they want you to do that. They just don't want to have to do nothing back for you. That's what it is.
This is what you know for sure. If Jazz and Ghosty, both of you guys, this scenario, right? If you and a man were out together, right? You know this man, you have a rapport with this man, y'all are starting.
All right, I remember. This is the very last part I want to talk about, and then we're 100% going to move on. There's probably like 3 more minutes of this we're going to talk about.
Something serious or whatever, right? Y'all, we say y'all like a month into the relationship, and a dude walk up and slap you in your ass. He see him do it and don't do nothing to him. Don't say nothing. Just act like it didn't happen. You staying with that man?
Yes.
Man,
Come on, go.
So the part where he said, act like it doesn't happen, you know, I don't know about that. Just like be okay with it. But what I'm about to say is I don't expect him to start getting into a literal fight with this guy who just slapped my ass, because it's just not fucking worth it to me. I've never been a fighter. There are fucking asshole people out there that are gonna slap your butt. Is it okay? No, but I'm not gonna put my boyfriend in harm's way for some ego shit to revenge me or whatever. That guy's just a fucking asshole. If anything, I'll yell at him. I'll yell at the guy and we'll move on. Because I value my boyfriend's safety more than this fucking stupid egotistical whatever bullshit. Like we will try to get away from that person.
I got it.
Please, fantastic. Flip it real quick first.
Okay, just real quick.
No
Ghosty,
answer will ever be good enough.
Literally.
I'm not trying to. I want to have discourse. So Ghosty, I understand you saying that.
Just because you don't agree don't mean you're lying.
Well, hold on. Now I'm talking to Ghosty, not you. I didn't say you.
I love
lying.
you though.
I'm having a conversation.
Jess, please come back on camera as soon as possible, because
whatever you doing off camera, you've been talking for like the last 30 minutes, chiming in. So listen, Ghosty, this is what I'm saying. I understand that, and that's noble of you to say you don't want your boyfriend to throw his life away, to put himself in danger, so on and so forth, right? But you still agree with the provision and protection, like expectations of a man, right?
If I'm actually being, if my life is like actually in danger, or if somebody's attacking me, I do expect someone I'm in a committed relationship to reasonably protect me. Because they have the ability to do so.
Okay,
right.
So now we're having an honest conversation, as we say, and that's what I'm saying.
Which is what I've said from the beginning. I understand he wasn't there for that part, so that's okay.
So if a man comes up to you while you guys are together, clearly you're boyfriend and girlfriend, and a man, by all intents and purposes, by definition, sexually assaults you, right?
But like, slapping my butt isn't actually me being in danger, right? It's just a disgusting like violation to do, you know what I mean? It's not like he's jumping on top of me, trying to kidnap me, trying to hurt me. He slapped my butt. And yeah, it would piss me off and it would piss my boyfriend off, but I'm not expecting him to jump in and start a fight with this guy. I don't even necessarily want him yelling at him because I don't want him to get into a fight with this guy. And it's not like my boyfriend's some like small, meek person. He's just like an average height, average guy. But it's not worth it to me. Like, there are asshole people out there. I can't go around fighting every single fucking asshole that disrespects me.
Unwanted touch of intimate areas is considered sexual assault. If I'm correct, I think I'm correct, right? And he does nothing. He doesn't say nothing to the dude, and nothing. You're comfortable with that man for being able to protect you?
Look, being a woman, these things happen. Like, guys will randomly grab your ass and stuff like that.
In front of your man?
It's wrong, but no, that's never happened to me in front of my boyfriend.
Exactly. But Ghosty, that's the point I'm trying to make.
Right, and my point is that I don't expect him to start fighting a guy if that happens. If it gets to the point where he's literally like jumping on top of me and groping me and it's like an ongoing thing, then yeah, I expect my boyfriend to get in and help me. But if a guy just walks by and slaps my butt, I don't expect him to just go and start fighting that guy. But what do you want me to say? I want him to go and start a fight with this guy, or like, you know what I mean? I personally, it's just not worth it to me. It's like, I don't really care that much. Like, I would be pissed at the other guy, but I'm not gonna get mad at my boyfriend for somebody else's actions.
Can you do what Ali is asking? Can you flip it?
Yeah, go ahead, Ali.
This is a woman on.
Like, can somebody please tell me what is so crazy about what I said? They're acting like I'm some radical fucking crazy feminist. I feel like I'm being extremely reasonable and rational and actually like the most non-emotional response you could have. An emotional response would be like, oh my god, my boyfriend needs to go in and fuck that guy up because he just touched me. Well, you know, I live in the world where, yeah, that shit happens, and I might yell at that guy, but I don't expect my boyfriend to just start fighting some random fucking guy. He could have a knife. He's crazy enough to just grab a random girl's ass. We don't know him, so it's not worth it. Something like some guy touching my butt and passing by is not worth my boyfriend's safety or life. That's all I'm saying.
Your boyfriend's space. And she keeps egging it on, touch him, push him, slap him. You're not going to do nothing?
If she's hitting him?
Yeah, you're not going to do nothing? You know how dangerous it is for a man? 1 second. You know how dangerous for a man to put the hands...
violent.
1 second, please. So go see. On the black community, not in Portugal, in the United States, they taught me this. You don't put the hands on a woman, you call your sister to do it. Right? Mm-hmm. Or a female friend you know has hands. Instead of you going there, right, and put yourself in danger,
right,
you find somebody, a woman, because the courts, the cops are going to be way more nicer and lighter if women are fighting women than a man fighting a woman, right? So you are telling me, go see, just 1 second. So if we are in a situation where your boyfriend is being arrested, a woman is putting their hands on him and all that, and you know he can't do nothing because you know he's going to be punished severely by the law if he does something, you're not going to smack her, you're not going to push her, you're not going to grab her, you're not going to do nothing?
The ideal situation is to get out of there.
Sure.
Get out of it.
Sure. That's the ideal situation, but again...
I'm 5'1". I'm like 110 pounds. I've never hit anyone in my life. Yeah, no, I've never hit or punched or have ever even been in a fight, except for with a violent boyfriend who was attacking me first, by the way. And I didn't even like attack him. I defended myself. But anyways, I've never been in like a fight with a girl. I'm not a fighter. I don't know how me slapping her is going to even protect him any better. So my honest answer is we should just get out of that situation and fucking leave. And as I'm about to say, like, I might put myself in between her and him, or like try to separate them, but like, what the fuck do they want from me?
Ghosty, we know the world.
I'm not like a fighter. I'm 5'1". I'm like 110 pounds. Like,
Ghosty, what matters is, like, you know what I'm saying? You might have $5 on your account. What matters is, like Chris said, she will try at least. Oh, I know I'm going to put there and sacrifice myself for my
I'll put myself in between
but I know
her
my
and
husband is
him.
not going to allow me to do it, right? So the question is, if you are in that situation, you are not going to do nothing for him. You're going to just grab him and try to run. Like, what you trying to do?
I will put myself in between her and him and get out of there.
Oh, like,
I'm probably not gonna start fist fighting some random ass violent chick. Like, I don't think that's good for either one of us, and I wouldn't expect him to do that either. If there's a man attacking me, yes, I expect him to help me get out of that situation. And I've already conceded to this. I expect reasonable protection from someone I'm in a committed relationship with.
Hey, Chris, Chris, and Deb, hold on.
Just 1 second, because I need to show them, Deb. So you're going to. So
is that me being an insane person? I'm just so fucking confused. I really fucking am. I feel like I'm being the most reasonable anyone could literally be with these answers. And this is genuinely how I feel. I avoid fights. I avoid violent situations at all costs. I've never been one to want to start fights or jump in fights or anything like that. So like, I really don't know what kind of answer they want from me, but yeah, let's see.
If
they're about to play this.
Is going at your man.
He's about to play this like clip comparing me to some whatever this is, Yu-Gi-Oh shit or Dragon Ball Z shit. And then I think this is the very last part. What I'm saying.
Ghosty, this is not fantasy. Something has to be done.
What's so
scenario? Ghosty, this is not anime.
I don't understand what's so crazy about what I'm saying.
Ghosty, this is not fantasy. Something has to be done, right?
Why? That's ego talking.
Hey man, you know
that's
what?
Your ego talking.
You know what?
And that's how people end up in bad situations.
Hold on. I'm bringing Chris up here. Hey, Chris.
Yes.
If there was men up here, one man, all the men are being quiet, and there's a man up here talking about men want sex, man want attractive women, and he's fighting. And y'all are saying that men want sex and attractive women, and the man up there is arguing back and forth. No, we don't. We don't care about looks and sex. The man wouldn't sit there and be quiet. But why do y'all allow sisters, if we're all in this together, to gaslight the men when you know in reality a woman would not remain with a man that would not protect her? As a matter of fact, if we're in a position of protecting, a man say, hey, I know you're trying to protect your lady, but I'm gonna get this. If you do anything else, I'm blowing your head off. A woman would expect this man to still go. Like, he wouldn't tell.
No.
He won't go, oh, he can stop protecting me right when it comes to death.
No, I would expect him to do the smart thing and protect himself. Because him protecting himself is protecting me. I don't expect him to be a retard and do some stupid shit to get himself killed. That's why I don't date dumb guys anymore. Yeah, I don't know, like, everybody in the comments is saying whatever, I'm fucking crazy. Now Ali is accusing me and Jazz of gaslighting the men with my answer. This is where I'm gonna stop it. I literally don't know what else I could have said. They just want me to play the villain, play the crazy woman who hates men, who expects so much of men very unreasonably. I don't know. So I just wanted to cover this part because I think it's a perfect example of me being extremely rational and reasonable, and them still calling me a liar, saying I'm gaslighting them, just I'm crazy, it's, all this stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to react to that real quick. Because it literally blows my mind. I don't know what they want me to say. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and I've been in situations with guys that I was dating like this where we have come across a crazy couple, and they were disrespecting me. And me and him were both like, we just need to leave the bar and we need to get out of here. Because he's now trying to get into a fight and get hurt with these crazy, clearly super drunk, intoxicated people. And I don't want him to get hurt. So we just left and we went to another bar. And they like literally tried to follow us, and we just kept going. Yeah, I don't care about this stupid fighting, like they need to revenge me and defend my honor, like whatever kind of bullshit. I don't care about that stuff. So, but I guess I'm lying. Anyways, let's talk about the Rockelle stuff. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a switch here. Let's see, do I want this light off? Is it too dark? It's kind of cool looking, right? The red. My hair is bothering me today. Alright, so we're going to talk about Rockelle Piper. If you guys don't know who Rockelle Piper is, honestly, good. I didn't know who she was either until I watched a Netflix documentary that came out, I believe, recently. At least within, like, the past couple months. And so Rockelle Piper is she got her fame on YouTube as she was like a child YouTube star, I guess would be like the best description. And when I say child YouTube star, like during her best, she was making up to $500K a month. So she was making up to $500,000 a month. At like the top of her YouTube. She's been on YouTube since she was a little girl. She got her start on like, I think it was Dance Moms. It was one of those dance shows. She grew up doing pageants. You know, the like creepy little girls get dressed up and dance and they look like adults and stuff. Very like John Benet Ramsey stuff. So, and then she goes on Dance Moms, and then she starts doing YouTube, and they move to LA to network and stuff. And her channel grows really big. She has millions and millions of subscribers, millions of views, again, making up to $500K per month. And she works with other kids her age. And when I say kids, I mean like, I would say they started getting like really big when she was around like 11, is my guess. So, I mean, I'm guessing that was when like the fame really started. But yeah, I know they were doing YouTube and they were doing really well between 11, 12, 13, 14, through her basically like preteens to early teens. And she was working with other kids her age, and they called it the squad is what they called it. So it was basically just kids doing like challenges, like who can eat this meal the fastest, or they would do prank videos, or they would go to the mall, just like kids being kids. and they would YouTube it. Her mom, Tiffany, is the momager, so she was like the manager, and her boyfriend, who is much younger than the mom, his name is Hunter, and he was the editor. And at first, like, Piper didn't know that Hunter was her mom's boyfriend. But they are dating. And he was the cameraman, and he was like the editor, and he like knew how to make their channel get the most attention online and stuff like that. So there is currently a lawsuit against Tiffany, the mom. And I wrote down all of the allegations from the documentary, and I am going to tell you them right now. So the accusations against the mom. They had these... okay, so also before we go into this. So originally, like, the kids would just show up at Tiffany and Piper's house and film, or they would like film somewhere else. But eventually they were making so much money, they decided to all, or a bunch of them, go in on a content house. So they shared like a really nice, like basically a mansion in LA, and they all the kids live there together. I think one of the moms lived there. I don't know if the other moms live there though. I know at least one of the moms lived there. But anyways, so yeah, the kids are living in this content house, and they're filming every day. So here are the allegations against the mom, Tiffany. The kids were working 12+ hour shifts on top of school and cleaning because they had rescued 36 cats. So the one girl said she would wake up at like 6 a.m. to do school online, a couple hours of school online, and then start filming at like 11 a.m. and then be done filming at like 1 a.m. or sometimes later. After they were done filming, they had to clean the house. So they said like they were getting a couple hours of sleep, if that, and they were extremely tired. And there's videos where like the kids are sleeping and they wake them up and stuff like that. So the next allegation, which isn't an allegation because there's video footage of it, Tiffany forced herself onto a 17-year-old male castmate on a live stream. This live stream was deleted the next morning, but they did play video of it in the documentary. So it started with Tiffany kind of touching his arms, being like extra touchy-feely with him, and then she just grabs his head literally and starts making out with him, like kissing him. And he was clearly uncomfortable. After it happened, he was like, I think we should end the live. So the next part is an allegation. So that same 17-year-old male castmate was trans, and Tiffany would ask him inappropriate questions about his transition and his body in a sexual manner. The kids said that Tiffany also had a weird obsession with another one of the male castmates who eventually quit and called the environment toxic. And there's videos of her like making weird comments to him And so eventually, when they're like 13, I think it is, they start doing crushes videos where they set up the kids to be each other's crushes, and it's not authentic. Like, it's not natural, right? They're picked to be each other's crushes. And this kid that Tiffany was obsessed with was chosen to be her daughter Piper's crush. And she was just like weird with him. So next, she pressured the kids, 12, and this is when they were 12 to 14 years old, to wear specific clothing, work specific hours, and do specific things. And when I say these things, again, I'm talking about like the crushes. So when I say specific clothing, particularly with Piper, she wanted Piper to wear quote unquote sluttier clothing. And we know this because this came from the stylist who would go out on a daily basis and like pick out outfits for the cast members. And typically it was just like normal preteen girl cute outfits, like tracksuits or cute matching pajamas or something like that. But Tiffany allegedly asked the stylist that Piper in particular played a sluttier character, so she should wear, have more revealing, provocative clothing. And so she was also pressuring the other kids to wear specific things and do specific things with their crushes. Like I remember one scene, there's a recording of Tiffany being like, oh, well, this girl should walk in and be like, hey, do you want to make out? Or something like that, something with making out. And the editor, the hunter, the boyfriend was like, oh, we already have it planned out. And Tiffany was like, well, is that how it's going to go? Because she was also very controlling of how these scenes played out, to the point where the kids who, their whole life was looking up to be a YouTube star. Sorry, I'm going to make myself bigger for this part. At this point, their whole life is like, they want to be a YouTube star. And this kind of corrupted their vision of what YouTube looked like for them. They weren't being their natural selves. They weren't having fun. Nothing about it was authentic or what they wanted to do. It was all controlled and directed by Tiffany and Hunter. So like I just said, Tiffany asked the stylist to get Piper, quote unquote, sluttier clothes. Tiffany would have the editor emphasize in Photoshop the kids' body parts, in particular like their thighs, the girls' butts, the boys' muscles, to get more views or whatever, even though, again, these kids are like preteens. Tiffany was aware. Okay, so they also had a fan named Megan. He turned out to be an older male posed as a girl online. And this Megan character would buy Piper insane amounts of expensive gifts. Like computers, cameras, camera lenses, an iPhone, a hoverboard was mentioned. A whole bunch of really expensive things, toys, like whatever, microphones. There was like a scene where Piper was surrounded by entire boxes on her front porch from Megan. So Tiffany allegedly knew that Megan was an older male posed as a girl online, and she like talked to one of the other moms, because Megan was also a fan of some of the other girls, and the moms were like, who is this person? Like, she's sending our kids presents and stuff. And Tiffany allegedly said, like, oh yeah, he's a pervert. He's Piper's stalker. So, like, she knew about this, but she was feeding into it. And allegedly, she would send Megan extra photos of Piper from, like, behind the scenes. And it was nothing that we know of, like, nude or inappropriate, but it was just Tiffany would allegedly send pictures of Piper, exclusive, we could call, pictures of Piper from behind the scenes to this older man that Tiffany called a pervert and Piper's stalker for money. Also, Tiffany would not allow the parents to visit the content house during shooting eventually. And by the way, well, hold on, okay. Tiffany asked one girl to lift her shirt up so her bra was showing a little bit for a thumbnail. So when I say that, I mean, like, the thumbnail was like her lifting it up from the bottom, and it was to the point where, like, her shirt was lifted so, like, under the bottom of her bra was showing a little bit. And this was for a video where it was like you had to copy what your crush did, and if you didn't copy what they did, then you lost. So what he did was he poured, like, water all over himself, so then she had to pour water all over herself, and after they were all wet, he took his shirt off, which meant she had to take her shirt off, and she was like, no, I'm not doing that. So for the cover of that video, Tiffany had this girl lift up her shirt a little bit, and Tiffany allegedly told her, have your bra show a little bit. Have your bra showing in the picture. So next, Tiffany asked an 11-year-old girl if she had ever given a blowjob. And when the 11-year-old girl didn't know what a blowjob was, Tiffany offered to teach her how to do it on Hunter, Tiffany's younger boyfriend. And Piper was there and told her mom to stop. So next is when we get into the, like, I mean, we're starting to get into the really sick stuff. Allegedly, Tiffany would jump onto the kids' beds, pin them down, and start making animal noises. And one time she was on top of a girl. She was pinned down, and this girl in particular was actually Piper's cousin. So it was her sister, Tiffany's sister's daughter, that she's doing this to. She had her pinned down, and she did the thing where you, like, hang spit out of your mouth and then suck it back up into your mouth. And so she pinned this little girl down and went to go spit on her and then sucked it back into her mouth. Tiffany had a sexual off-screen character named Lenny that would harass the kids. So she would, like, use this character and be like, oh, it's Lenny saying that, not me, Tiffany. I guess to kind of remove herself from it, even though it doesn't make it any better. So she started grabbing one 9-year-old girl, and this 9-year-old girl is also, she's the sister of the last girl I just talked about. So she's also Piper's cousin. She started grabbing this 9-year-old girl by her waist until the girl ran away and locked herself in a bathroom. Tiffany said through the door that she had her pants down and asked if the girl wanted to see. And there were other times where Tiffany would also pin this girl down and touch her body. She would touch her face and touch her body while she was like on top of her in bed. And she would allegedly do this while the kids like were sleeping. She would just come into their rooms and like jump on them in their beds and do this to them. So the last one, she jumped on top of a girl named Sophie, who was Piper's best friend, and she was basically with Piper from like the very beginning of all this YouTube stuff. And Sophie's mom was actually the stylist that we were talking about earlier. So she jumped on top of Sophie when she was asleep and touched her all over her body and said that it was Lenny's dick. Sophie would start locking her door at night, but Tiffany would use a penny to still get into her room. So these are all of the fucked up allegations that I got from the kids and the people who worked with Tiffany from the documentary. And that's why there's a lawsuit against her. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys all of that context before we get into this video. Because the thing is, so the girl Sophie, who was the friend, she and her mom felt bad for Piper. They loved Piper. Sophie's mom said she felt like a more stable force in Piper's life. And nobody wanted to abandon Piper, right? They were all friends with her. But her mom was so fucking crazy and toxic, they all had to leave. But they felt bad leaving their friend. Because these kids would also say that sometimes Piper would cry and be like, she doesn't even want to do filming anymore. She wants to move back to Georgia. She would say things like, hold on. Yeah, Sophie's mom heard Piper say a few times she didn't want to film anymore and want to move back to Georgia. Basically, like, the kids saw that Piper wasn't doing so well. Piper didn't go to school, and yeah, her whole life was the squad and this YouTube channel that Tiffany was completely controlling. And it didn't look the same or feel the same as in the beginning when Piper was kind of just being her natural self, doing what she wanted, before Tiffany really started controlling everything. So they felt like they were abandoning their friend with a really dangerous, quite frankly, woman. So anyways, now that that's out of the way, we are going to watch this video from fucking ABC News, okay? And that is why I am so disgusted with this, because you will see. And by the way, I did not pre-watch this. I saw, like, not an ad, but I saw, like, the intro for it. I didn't watch any of Piper's interview. So, but when I saw how ABC, like, started covering, you'll see. I saw, like, a minute of how this started, and it's disgusting how they are framing this. So, but yeah, I haven't watched any of the interview. I haven't watched the majority of this. put this over here. Yeah, if you guys feel like supporting me, if you have extra money, by the way, there's my Cash App. Because YouTube takes like 50% and I have to make a certain amount of money before I can even claim the money. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, let's watch this.
This is Nightline.
Tonight, Piper Rockelle, the Nightline exclusive, the former kid influencer with millions of followers.
Hey, it is Piper Rockelle, and welcome to my vlog.
Now hitting it big on OnlyFans. So big.
What was your first day's earnings?
We made $1 million in an hour, which was so crazy. And then at the end of the night, it was almost like 3.
But at what cost?
Does it trouble you?
Right, so I forgot to mention in all of this, when Piper turned 18, she opened an OnlyFans and she made $3 million in her first day on OnlyFans. And she was hyping up this OnlyFans for days prior to opening it. So she was like, 4 days to go, like 5 days till I'm 18. And before this, she was on a site called Brand Army, which is basically OnlyFans, but without nudity. And minors are allowed to be on the site. So she would post like bikini pics and have people subscribe to view this content. And the people, you know, paying for this is obviously older men. And in the documentary, they actually go to point out, which is not surprising to me, that the majority of people that even watch these child YouTubers to begin with are largely older men. You know, a big part of their audience is other kids, but there is a significant portion of viewers watching that are older men watching for sexual, disgusting reasons. So there were comments of men saying, like, I've been waiting for this since, like, I forget what year he said, but it was a year where Piper would have been literally a child. So there have been, like this Megan fan that we talked about earlier. There are these weird older guys that are obsessed with these kids. And she goes on to OnlyFans when she's 18, and now all these men have access to her sexuality and stuff. And I don't know like what she's posting. I doubt she's posting nudes yet. You know, because most of these girls can start off posting just like more risque pictures, whatever. Without nudity, but usually eventually it does lead to that. I'm not saying it will, but it might, because the thing is, since the lawsuit is her YouTube has been demonetized, so she has no way of making money right now, which is why she started this OnlyFans. And in fact, she was interviewed recently and she said she was hoping that when she turned 18, her YouTube channel would be remonetized again, because, you know, her mom's not in control of it anymore. She's 18. She could be the adult to take over her YouTube channel, but they did not remonetize her channel. So that's why she's doing OnlyFans, and she said she would, of course, rather just be doing YouTube, which I think is really sad. So it's in my personal opinion that Tiffany is the one behind all this. Tiffany is the one who has always sexualized her daughter for money and exploited her daughter for money, or at least was willing to do that. So, yeah, like, without Piper having anyone else right now in her life, she just has Tiffany and this Hunter guy, her mom's boyfriend, I don't even know if Hunter is still in the picture, but she just has her mom which from all the allegations is very controlling. She sexually harasses kids, young teenage girls, young teenage boys, pressures them to do sexual things on camera that they're not comfortable with, pressures Piper to do that. And we don't know how much control Piper really has. And sometimes, like, not Munchausen syndrome, what's that other one where, like, a victim gets used to their captor? Like, that could be what's happening. Is, like, this is her mother. So, you know, she, like, there were parts where Piper used to say Piper took personal responsibility for her family's bills. So that's a lot to put on a child. Piper feels expected to make money for her and her mom. In fact, after the allegations came out about her mom, Piper made a video defending her mom and saying that she feels it's her fault because she was friends with all of these people who now turned against her mom. Which honestly reminded me of that video when the Andrew Tate victims, sorry, I'm not quote unquote, the Andrew Tate victims came out and defended Andrew Tate when in fact they are all over the files and the Tates are doing terrible fucking things to them. But lots of times victims feel pressured for whatever reason, especially if they're still in that situation, like with this person who is controlling them. They are forced to make these videos oftentimes. And it's especially different with a mom and daughter situation. And if Piper feels responsible for the bills and everything, like it's a really bad situation. All right, so let's just start watching this.
You that a lot of your fans are older men?
Plus, Madison Beer, the red-hot hit maker with chart-topping hits like Yes Baby. Strutting her stuff and wowing the crowd on the Victoria's Secret runway.
Tell me about getting your wings.
They were so beautiful, and it's just something that, like, I grew up watching and I was such a fan of.
What she says about leaning into the heartbreak in her breakup anthem, Bittersweet. And the big announcement from roommate singer Hilary Duff. Thrilling fans around the world.
All right, we're obviously not watching any of that part, but damn, Hilary Duff still looks fucking amazing. Like, she has not changed at all. Holy crap.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Thanks for joining us tonight. A Nightline exclusive. Piper Rockelle, as you've never seen her. For the first time on TV, the former kid influencer turned OnlyFans instant millionaire, addressing the scandal that rocked her YouTube star persona, brushing off her critics and making it clear she's in charge.
Like, already. It honestly pisses me off that they even took this interview, because this is obviously just fanning more older creepy men into her OnlyFans account, into her OnlyFans channel. And I personally have always said that I would love to raise the age of OnlyFans, porn, webcamming, any like sexual work to like strippers to age 20 rather than age 18. I just think 18 is too young to make a decision like that personally. So yeah, but obviously I don't control the world. I don't control the laws, so it is obviously legal, but I just think it's kind of disgusting for ABC to even take this interview. Like, we're talking about a YouTube child star that went to OnlyFans the day she turned 18, who works for her mother, who has heinous allegations against her, and is likely basically human trafficking her own daughter. That's basically what this situation is. So it's it's fucking disgusting, and they're turning it into like a female empowerment kind of thing. Like, no. And I have no problem with OnlyFans or sex work, porn industry, whatever, as long as first of all, you're mature enough to do it, and you're doing it because you want to. And I understand there are women who do it because they need to, and that's just a sad reality. But this is a different situation, and this is not. First of all, she just turned 18. She was a child YouTube star. There's obviously a lot of pedophiles that have enjoyed watching Piper as a child and is now getting to view her in a explicit type of sexual way. It is just disgusting all around, and ABC is like, yeah, take control of your own life. Like, her mom is, in my opinion, most likely the one behind all of this. So, yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
I have it down to it only takes me 30 minutes top, hair and makeup. I felt like when I first dropped my OnlyFans, I was thinking a little bit too much like, oh my god, I need to have this kind of photo and this kind of photo.
What is the most you've been offered for the least you've done?
You want me to be honest? Probably just like a foot pic. Like, it'll be like $3K just to see a foot.
Piper Rockelle, for months, literally counted down to her OnlyFans debut.
January 1st, the life is gonna change just a tad bit. It's gonna get a little bit of...
Piper doing her own countdown clock is rewriting the narrative. She's the one counting down to her own coming of age.
Hey!
I recognize this bitch's voice. Is that Taylor Lorenz? I'm not sure if it's Taylor Lorenz, but she 100% covered the Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff and was 100% defending Amber Heard. I know she was in at least one of the documentaries, and she was supporting Amber Heard. So she's obviously like a radical feminist. And now she's supporting a child star going to OnlyFans the day she turns 18 to sell her pedophile fans sexual pictures of herself. Like, yeah, go girl. Get it. What did she say? She's counting down the days to take over her, like, what?
Piper doing her own countdown clock is rewriting the narrative. She's the one counting down to her own coming of age.
Hey, it is Piper Rockelle.
And then they show this like cute little picture of her. Does anybody think this is okay? Like, what are we doing? She's counting down the days to her own coming of age. Yeah, because the day you turn 18, you come of age to sell sex pics. That's not what coming of age means. And also, with the allegations against her mom, like, this is different than any girl who just a regular girl who turns 18 and goes to OnlyFans. This is different from that. We have allegations against her mother of sexually harassing children and teenage girls. Like, who knows what Piper has been through? Who knows what Tiffany has done to Piper, or has had Hunter do to Piper? Or we also know that there are extreme allegations of her being very controlling and pressuring Piper to do more sexual things as a minor. So it totally makes sense that Tiffany would be the one to pressure Piper, or honestly force Piper to go to OnlyFans. Because Piper feels like she is responsible for their finances. And she loves her mom. So she will do it because this has been her whole life. Has been performing to make money for her mother. She doesn't know anything else. Like, think about that. Every single fucking day filming with her mom directing, making it more sexual and sexual as she gets older. Like, none of this is natural coming from Piper. This is all Tiffany. So why would we think this is any different? None of this is Piper having control, which is how ABC is trying to frame this. As like a girl boss taking control of your life. It's disturbing as fuck.
Hello and welcome to my vlog.
Piper Rockelle was the biggest kid influencer of the 2010s.
Her move from child star to a sex symbol, OnlyFans model was a shocking success.
Piper claims that she made...
Yeah, because of pedophiles. There's nothing shocking about it. It's honestly not shocking at all. It's very obvious that this would happen. And it's just, again, it's just more sad because of everything with her mother. Like, we don't even know if this is anything she wants to be doing. She said she wants to do YouTube. She doesn't want to do OnlyFans. She wants to do YouTube, but she's not monetized because of her mother. So I don't know why we're hyping this up like this is some good thing. Like, she just called a child star a sex symbol. Like, what's going on in their heads? This is how much money. My first day, I truly can't believe it. Forever grateful. Almost about $3 million. Look at all the messages. Over $500,000 in messages. And we don't have to guess. There are literal posts of these men saying, like, I've been waiting for this. In the documentary, they found men, like, passing pictures of Piper. Not even sexual pictures of her. Just her as a child. And they would describe these kids in very dehuming sexual ways. And they would trade pictures of different kid influencers, child influencers on the internet. And we're like, ABC is pretending like this is cool. Or this is girl bossing.
$2.9 million in her first day. That is an astronomical amount of money even within the OnlyFans world.
So why did Piper turn to OnlyFans? It may have something to do with a massive scandal and lawsuit. It involves her mother and allegations of abuse and exploitation.
Until the lawsuit came out, Piper was really the golden girl of kid influencers. And so for these claims to come out against her mother and her mother's boyfriend really changed everything. Piper was born to her mother, Tiffany Smith, in 2007 in Georgia. And by the time she was 3 years old, she was competing in pageants.
Her father was not involved. He freaked out when he found out Tiffany was pregnant, and he went off and did his own thing.
Tiffany was really just trying to make things work, and it was pretty quickly that she saw that Piper had some kind of star power. Her mother started posting videos of her on YouTube, and by the time she was 8 years old, she was getting millions of views on YouTube videos.
There was it a slime video, right?
Like my first ever video?
Your first big viral video.
Hey guys, it's Piper Rockelle. Today we are going to be making fluffy slime.
Slime was like having a moment. And so when Piper started making content like that, she was able to suddenly...
Oh, it's Cat 10 Barge or whatever her fucking name is. Yes. Oh my god. Ugh. She was one of the worst during the Amber Heard stuff. She was she was all over all the different news things. I remember particularly NBC talking about, how Amber's the victim and blah, 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 blah. She's disgusting. I'm not surprised she's now doing this. She hates women, obviously. This is all bad for women. Defending Amber Heard. Fucking... So she defends abusive women who falsely accuse men of rape and abuse. But she supports child stars going to OnlyFans the day they turn 18 that have extremely controlling, abusive, and sexually harassing mothers. Does any of that make sense? What a piece of shit.
Start racking up views and followers really quickly.
Hey guys, welcome to my night routine.
Anywhere we went, people would approach her. Can I take a picture with you? Can I touch you?
Around 2017, Piper began this band of other child influencers to join her. So it was called Piper, Rockelle, and the Squad, or the Squad for short.
I'm not doing this alone. I'm inviting my whole entire squad over today. Come in, girls.
A few years after the Squad was created, you start seeing this proliferation of crush content where the kids are revealing who they have a crush on, or they're even kissing each other.
Piper's mom was the boss. She was the boss of Piper, and when it came to the Piper Squad, she was also the boss and really the caretaker of all these other kids.
Caretaker? Caretaker? Is that what you fucking call it? That's insane.
You're going to be getting kissed.
Those crush videos, some people thought inappropriate.
Sure, people can think that for sure. I was cool with everything. I think that we just made a lot of amazing content, and I would never change the way that I went about the whole YouTube thing, because I think it was just one of the greatest things that ever happened to me.
In 2021, you saw the Squad really changing. So lots of members were leaving, and there was kind of this mystery around why would anyone leave the Squad?
You saw this divide emerge where a lot of parents and kids who had previously been a part of the Piper Squad were like, hold on a second. I'm now seeing how inappropriate and inequitable some of this behavior was.
Yeah, it was a bit more than that. That's putting it lightly.
2022, 11 former members of the squad filed a lawsuit against her mom and her mom's boyfriend, Hunter Hill, and Piper Rockelle Incorporated. And they alleged emotional, verbal, physical, and at times sexual abuse. They sought $22 million in damages, and the claims in the lawsuit are incredibly harrowing.
When I was like 14 through 16, even 17, you know, that whole entire span of my life was just complete, like the lowest ever.
In 2025, Netflix dropped this documentary that was called Bad Influence, and it was really an inside look at this lawsuit and these allegations against Tiffany Smith and the world of kid influencing.
Did you watch the Netflix series? No.
Mm-mm.
That's interesting.
I'm sorry.
'cause there's
I'm so sorry. Why is this not... I don't know why it's not showing the whole screen. I thought I already set this up. Shit. My bad. I don't think you guys missed... Ugh, I feel so stupid. I don't think you guys missed anything super crucial though.
there are, you know, the lawsuit had serious allegations in it.
Absolutely.
All of these allegations that were lodged, mostly against your mom, are you saying they're untrue?
No, I'm never gonna discredit anybody. I'm just gonna say I have never witnessed anything, and I have never went through that. And I was always with my mom, and I love my mom, and I'm never gonna speak for them. And I wish that they could have been.
Wait, why is it going back? What happened? The heck? It's weird. Hold on. Sorry.
Kind of. And I love him.
These allegations that were lodged, mostly against your mom, are you saying they're untrue?
No, I'm never gonna discredit anybody. I'm just gonna say I have never witnessed anything, and I have never went through that. And I was always with my mom, and I love my mom, and I'm never gonna speak for them. And I wish that they could have been kind enough to never speak for me.
And yet, there's no estrangement between you and your mom. You guys are living together.
You know, I think a lot of people think that this whole entire thing would definitely bring us farther apart, but this whole entire thing has just made me closer to her, so.
So the lawsuit was settled in 2024. It was settled for $1.85 million, which is a far cry from the $22 million in damages sought. Tiffany Smith, Hunter Hill, and Piper Rockelle Inc. never admitted to any wrongdoing.
After the lawsuit was filed, YouTube demonetized Piper's channel.
At the time, Piper and Tiffany, they're making about $300,000 to $400,000 a month. So that is a significant loss.
So what does Piper do? She pivots and she leaves that young girl behind.
I'm doing my first ever collab on OnlyFans, which I'm super excited about, with Sophie Rain and Aisha Sophie. They're like the two hottest little girls ever, women. I love them so much. We just went on a little trip together and we took some photos and it was so much fun. Like so much fun. So I had the best time ever.
What made you think about going on OnlyFans?
Once I did turn 18, I was like, where do I want my life to go? What if I become an actor, a singer? But then I kind of thought about it. I was like, I don't think that that's for me. I'm never gonna have a good reputation. I'm never going to have a clean slate. I don't really want a clean slate.
It does seem that a lot of the people who are consuming content on OnlyFans, especially of really young girls like Piper, who is only 18, are older men.
It's always just been adult men who are sort of leering after.
I feel disgusting, like, just looking at this. Honestly. Yeah, it's hard for me to really believe anything she says, and it's not even necessarily like she's lying. I think she might believe herself. She might believe the own thing she's saying. I just don't know if someone else, Tiffany, put that into her head. And that's what I really think, is that Tiffany, you know, put these ideas in her head. Like, she even said, like I could do acting or something. And she's like, but no, you know, I probably can't make it in that industry. Yeah, I just have a feeling a lot of this is coming from Tiffany and not from Piper, which is what worries me. I do think YouTube should remonetize her channel. And now that Tiffany isn't the one in control of it, and I would be super curious what Piper would do. But also at the same time, now she knows how much money she can make on OnlyFans without YouTube. So who even knows? But, you know, she's not going to be 18 forever. And these pedophiles that are watching her are going to move on to new child influencers and new 18-year-olds on OnlyFans. And yeah, I don't know. It's to the way that ABC is framing this is just really disgusting to me.
After these barely legal women, as a culture, we fetishize youth to such an extreme degree.
Does it trouble you that a lot of your fans are older men?
I mean, it's not, I don't really think about it that much. I don't think about it like that.
Your OnlyFans has no nudity.
I mean, no, not yet, at least. I'm not shutting that door.
So she's already, like, prepping for this. Prepping for the nudity. And again, like, there is a factor in this where she's being strategic, right? She wants to hint at these things to get more subscribers on OnlyFans. That, like, this is partially strategic. Like, well, I'm not showing anything yet, but subscribe if you want to find out in the future, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I'm, like, thoroughly grossed out with ABC.
Because I'm very comfortable with who I am, but nothing yet. I just started. It's literally only been a month. I love to show my body, and I show my body on Instagram. If I show that much on Instagram, I'm obviously doing more on OnlyFans.
But you do personalized services, like chatting with people.
Of course. It's successful people, it's lonely people. I don't care who they are, but I care for them as an individual, and I want to make them more happy. If that's what they want. If they want me to be mean to them, sure. I don't care. Like,
part of the business model with OnlyFans is that these models are able to message their subscribers directly, and that is really a big part of where the money comes from. So the messaging that she sends to her subscribers is racy. They're very sexual. They're very teasing in nature.
What did your grandma say when you told her you're going on OnlyFans?
in honor of me just dropping my link, I'm gonna show my grandma the first set I posted.
Scared?
I'm scared.
Your whole is hanging out.
My family's the most supported thing ever. I do make her a character, but like, I'm literally making her like a money-hungry grandma for my, like, for the entertainment. It's the funniest thing ever.
I heard you bought your grandma a car, too.
Yes, I did. Mimi, what are we doing today?
Gonna get a car with my granddaughter's butt money.
Spending this amount of money does hurt me, but I'll just make it back in an hour.
Okay. She paid my house off, number one. And this was before she started OF. She brought me a Bronco, and she said that she doesn't want me working anymore. I'm not gonna fight with her.
We've talked about all that you've lost. If all of that hadn't happened, do you think you would be doing OnlyFans?
That's fucking disgusting. If I was her grandmother, I would not take her money. There's just so much pressure on this girl to make all the money for her family because her mom ruined it for her, for them. Yeah, overall, I just think it's a really scary situation. And obviously these allegations haven't been proven, but there are like 11 kids in the lawsuit, I think. They were making a lot of money doing their YouTube stuff as the squad. Like, they lost a lot by leaving the squad and being blackmailed from the squad. So they had a lot to lose by leaving the squad and making these allegations, which is why I 100% believe them. They had no incentive to leave. You know, sharing $1 million or whatever it was between all of them is a lot less money than they would have been making if they had stayed with Piper and Tiffany. So, yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe OF will help Piper get away from her mom. I hope it does. Like, it looks like she's collabing with these other OF girls. Maybe they will, like, that will kind of open her eyes and get her away from her mother, and then she can really be in control of her own life. But I would not call any of this Piper being in control or in charge of her own life. And I just think this is kind of sad. I think it's really sad. And I think it's disgusting that we are fanning pedophilic fantasies. They have been watching this girl since she was a child and waiting for this. And she's giving them what they want. And it's disturbing, honestly. And I'm like, my anger isn't really towards Piper that much at all. I think one day she is going to have to realize what her mom did, but it's not her responsibility.
I really don't know. I mean, truthfully, there's a lot of times where in that whole midst of things where I wanted to give up. So, you know, it wasn't like, oh, I got to make money or nothing. You know, I'm totally cool with also having nothing, no one. I don't think that I've continued to be doing YouTube. Even if I had my YouTube right now, I think that I would have grown out of it.
That's literally not what she said in another interview recently, where she was hoping when she turned 18, her YouTube would be monetized because she wants to be doing YouTube. So again, I think this is a part of the OF strategy of pleasing her subscribers. And, you know, because these men don't want to feel like the women are just doing it for money. They want to feel like the women are doing it because they actually love making these men happy and pleasuring them. That's like a huge part of all of this stuff. So, you know, she can't just admit that it's about the money. She has to pretend like she actually likes doing it, which is what, like, a big thing of what she said earlier was like, I just like making these people happy. That's precisely what they want to hear. And I think she clearly got that from probably reading a lot of the chats or her mom prepping her. Like, for all we know, they have been doing this behind the scenes prior to OF, because we do have the allegations of that Megan guy, where allegedly Tiffany was sending pictures of Piper to this guy for money. An older male fan was getting pictures of Piper, and they weren't sexual as far as we know, right? And how would we find that out? The pedophile's not going to tell anybody. Tiffany and Piper's not going to tell anybody. So we would have no idea if through that Brand Army site that she was on before OnlyFans, while she was still a minor, if exclusive pictures were being sent to older male fans. And if not, then she might have already been chatting with these men, so she understands what they want, because it's very clear from this interview she already understands this whole world of the men and what they want and how they want her to act and what they want her to say, and she's only been doing OF for a month. So to me, it seems like she's already had a little bit of experience dealing with these subscribers. But that's my personal opinion. So yeah, Tiffany Smith vehemently denies all allegations in the lawsuit. She denies having any involvement in Piper's decision to join OF. I call bullshit. Tiffany says they worked very hard to satisfy all child labor requirements. Yeah, which by the way are basically nothing for child YouTube stars. Which is, there's like a lot of that going on right now, especially with the that one case that just finished up, Jody Hildebrand and why can't I think of the mom? The 8 passengers thing. The one of the daughters is fighting really hard for laws for like family bloggers, for the children that are involved in these family blogging situations. So I guess that's the end of this.
For much more on this story, including lots of behind-the-scenes looks at Piper's OnlyFans, watch Impact by Nightline. Piper Rockelle, Barely Legal, now streaming on Disney+.
Like, are we joking right now? I hate this so much. If anybody thinks this is feminism, you're fucking crazy. Piper Rockelle, Barely Legal. Yeah, I don't know. It honestly makes me sad, but hold on, let's see. Is there like a trailer or something? I don't know what's going on with this thing today.
Now, with the story of scandal and survival involving one of YouTube's biggest child stars, Juju Chang is here with more on this. Hey, Juju.
Hey, guys. Good morning. You know, Piper Rockelle was absolutely a YouTube darling, making jaw-dropping amounts of money as a tween. But she says scandal cost her everything. Now, her pivot to more risque content has also been jaw-dropping. She sat down with us for her first extensive TV interview, addressing all the controversy to make it clear she's in charge.
Hey, it is Piper Rockelle, and welcome to my vlog.
One of the biggest former kid influencers on YouTube, with millions of subscribers when she was just 12, now 18 and taking on her detractors.
Some of your critics say, well, you know, Piper never got to be a kid, that your childhood was all work, or maybe even worse, a facade.
I had one of the best childhoods. Like, I wouldn't change it. I had to become the person that I am today. I'm the luckiest person alive, honestly.
Raised by a single mom in Georgia, Piper went from pageants to social media and hit it big on YouTube with her squad, a group of kids that made viral content from challenges to pranks.
I'm not doing this alone. I'm inviting my whole entire squad over today. Come in, girls!
Her mom, Tiffany Smith, in the director's chair for it all.
Tiffany has the creative mind and Piper has she just wants to do it.
Today we're going to be playing headbands. We are going to be filling this huge bathtub.
Piper reportedly making $400,000 to $500,000 a month.
How old were you when you realized you were the breadwinner in the family?
I don't know. I never really thought of it that way, kind of. I just felt like it was a team effort. I didn't just think that this was my thing and all this money is mine.
But in 2022, it all came crashing down.
In 2022, 11 former members of the squad filed a lawsuit, and they alleged emotional, verbal, physical, and at times sexual abuse. They sought $22 million in damages, and the claims in the lawsuit are incredibly harrowing.
The suit was filed against Piper's mom, Tiffany Smith, her company, Piper Rockelle Inc., and the squad's videographer, Hunter Hill. Now, Piper and her family addressing the aftermath of the lawsuit and the Netflix doc, Bad Influence, for the first time on network TV.
All of these allegations that were lodged, mostly against your mom, are you saying they're untrue?
I'm never gonna discredit anybody. I'm just gonna say I have never witnessed anything, and I have never went through that. And I was always with my mom, and I love my mom, and I'm never gonna speak for them. And I wish that they could have been kind enough to never speak for me.
And yet, there's no estrangement between you and your mom. You guys are living together.
You know, I think a lot of people think that this whole entire thing would definitely bring us farther apart, but this whole entire thing has just made me closer to her, so.
The suit was settled in 2024 for $1.85 million. Defendants admitted no wrongdoing. But in the aftermath, Piper's YouTube channel was demonetized. Her main source of income, gone. So she decided to pivot.
What made you think about going on OnlyFans?
Once I did turn 18, I was like, where do I want my life to go? What if I become an actor, a singer? But then I kind of thought about it. I was like, I don't think that that's...
We saw a lot of this well, there's like only a minute left. There is at least one part of this we didn't see.
For me, I'm never gonna have a good reputation. I'm never going to have a clean slate. I don't really want a clean slate.
She purportedly made $2.9 million on day one. Her own grandma approving of her decision.
I just think it's like the next thing. I mean, you can't be 18 and like doing pranks on people and dancing on TikTok forever.
You actually can. There are a lot of YouTube videos, like there's prank videos weren't just kids doing that shit. Like there's a lot of YouTube videos of older people that don't do sex stuff that have YouTube accounts. Whether they're like vlogging their life, basically doing the same stuff she was as a kid, but just as an adult. And it's more adulty. But it doesn't have to be like kid to sex work. Like there are so many adults on YouTube. There's so many huge streamers. So yeah, that's a weird cope.
I am very proud of the decision she made. It is a lot of money, and I'm happy for her. She deserves it, and she's not doing anything terribly wrong.
Piper says she, for years, suffered with her mental health during this.
She's literally feeding into pedophiles' fantasies. That's what's happening. Just to make it clear.
Scandal, and her mom Tiffany not only denies the allegations against her, she points out there was always a third-party management during those squad years. Now, when I asked Piper if the scandal hadn't happened, would you be doing OnlyFans? She kind of hesitated and said, you know, I would have grown out of the slime making and the tween stuff, but it's really interesting. It raises a lot of questions. One of our experts says, what are we commodifying here? Like youth and sexuality and innocence. But let's face it, sex always sells. The question is, who's going to profit?
Oh, this is so fascinating. A little bit scary.
A little bit scary.
Yeah.
And you know, you can see a lot more tonight on our Impact by Nightlines, Piper Rockette, Barely Legal. It's streaming now on Disney Plus and Hulu. And honestly, it digs into all of these social questions that are raised by this.
Oh, thank you so much, Juju. Looking forward to seeing that whole special.
For the least you've done.
So yeah, that's that. If more stuff comes out about this, I might cover it again, but I mean, the main thing I really wanted to talk about was just how ABC decided to cover this, and you know, I don't know if it's like coming from Piper where she's like, I will only do this interview if you frame it this way, but then in my opinion, don't do the interview, but profit, baby. It's all about money, right? I think it's fucking disgusting. As I've said a million times, I think it's really upsetting. And I do recommend you guys go watch that documentary. I don't know if you can hear my cat crying outside the door. Yeah, it's called Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kid Influencers. It was a pretty good documentary, 3 parts, easy to watch. I definitely recommend it because, like, I've never heard of any of this before we started watching this. Does she have some kind of
claims to come out against her mother and her mother's boyfriend?
Yeah, this is everything that we watched, right?
Supported thing ever. I do make her a character.
Yeah, this is everything that we watched, so. Oops. I guess that's it. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to talk about or cover? I don't know. There we go. Been live for 2 hours. I guess I'll just make it a short stream. I was gonna do a video last week. Here, maybe we can watch this. Let me see. There was kind of one other thing I wanted to talk about. It's a little old now, but I think it's still relevant. I should have found this video ahead of time. Sorry, hold on. Let me try to find this. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to find something. God, why is this so hard to find? I think this was it. Hold on. Oh, wait. Fuck. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Alright, this is somebody else reacting to it, but I'll just skip over what they say. I kind of want to talk about this. This will probably be the last thing I talk about. It's Nick Fuentes. Yay. So he's been saying, I mean, crazy shit as usual. He's been especially going off on women recently, saying crazy shit, but his response to the Super Bowl halftime show was kind of interesting. And there's a couple things I wanted to say about it. So let me fix all of this. Alright. That's good enough.
Being said, we have to talk about this Super Bowl halftime show. There is so much to talk about. The greatest Super Bowl halftime show of the 21st century. I thought it was great. I understood every word. I don't know what everybody was complaining about. People said, I can't understand a word of the Super Bowl halftime show. This is ours. This is America. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the fucking... it was just like staged fake outrage by what's her name, Megyn Kelly, and she's like, we should be eating meatloaf and we need white people. And like, who the fuck eats meatloaf for the Super Bowl, first of all? But she was just doing all this fucking fake outrage shit. Like, it was honestly so boring and gross. Really, like, who fucking cares? But
understood every word he said.
I don't know. I just felt like it. You know, if you're a real Roman, the little slow down. You have all American.
I was like, this is super relatable. The sugar cane, the nail tech, the the salsa dancing. I was like, that looks like where I'm from. I was like, those look like my parents. Those look like mi familia. That's like all my cousins. I think I recognized a few people there. I thought it was great. I know that was the kind of culture I grew up with. That was kind of the rhythm of where I grew up in Mexico City. And they look like my people, talk like my people. I was like, finally, I feel included. No, I'm joking, of course. Just rage bait. You guys are idiots. Hey, you guys are idiots, all right? It's just a little rage bait. Hey, just jokes, relax. Everyone's gonna be okay. What do you need, a safe space? Here, we'll rent an overflow space and, we'll hang up some red, white, and blue streamers and we'll put some country music on. Okay? We'll do a little counter programming.
Oh, God, the one clip I saw.
You feel bad. English, this is Spanish. Hey, it's okay. We have some counter programming. We rented an overflow room. We're going to play some country music. There. It's all right. It's going to be fine.
No, it is so fucking kind of true, though. Like, the right calls the left snowflakes all the time, yet they literally cry over people saying happy holidays. They cry over every Super Bowl halftime show. They cry over fucking... I saw the other day, one of the U.S. Olympians was asked some question, and she was like, yeah, our country's going through a hard time, and I just support compassion, and I support my community, and blah, 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 blah. And a bunch of Republicans were fucking mad about it. They said, she shouldn't be speaking about politics. This has nothing to do with the Olympics. Blah, 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 blah. She responded to a liberal news media organization. She literally said nothing crazy. She was just like, I support compassion and love, blah, blah. Like, it was basically about, like, ICE shit. Like, it was very obvious she was talking about all the ICE stuff that was going on. But she is representing her country, and she's allowed to say whatever the fuck she wants representing her country. And she didn't even say anything controversial. She just said she supports compassion, and she wants like love for her community. It's literally all she said. But all the Republicans were having a field day with it, going crazy in the comments. So yeah, snowflakes, it's not us, it's you.
I saw some people trad larping like in
We'll have some ranch dressing, we'll have some Domino's pizza. It's gonna be fine. No, I'm kidding. I'm just guys. Since when did our side become like this?
First of all, they've always been like this. They have always been like this. They have always been the ones criticizing the celebrities, saying, oh, that's too this, that's too that. Shakira had a fucking Puerto Rican flag. Like, it's Eminem saying bad words or like whatever. I don't like what the rappers are saying. I don't like how this woman is dancing. I don't like this on TV. They have always been the babies. I do agree that the left got a little crazy with it a couple years ago, but like some people act like we're still living in 2016 peak super woke times. Shit isn't like that anymore. There's unhinged people on Twitter, but there's unhinged people on Twitter on both sides, on every single side. So that really doesn't count. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Republicans have always been the ones crying about the stupid little shit that doesn't matter. Happy holidays. Oh no.
Maybe we've always been like this and I just never saw it. Here's my unironic take about the halftime. I'm joking around a little bit. Here's my unironic take. Is we have to talk about a couple of things. We have to talk about the halftime show. We can't talk about it without also discussing the Kid Rock thing that was going on somewhere else. what the fuck was that? I mean, if that's the best we have to offer, honestly, I'm switching sides. If that's, seriously. They said, this is the all-American halftime show. God, family, and it's like, okay, if that's...
It was so weird, too. The one singer was like, I just want to kiss my fish. He literally said that. He sang that. It was weird. I scrolled through it for 2 seconds. I happened to land on that part. I didn't even know there was an alternative halftime show until a couple days later. It's so pointless. They're so upset about a halftime show. A Super Bowl halftime show. Why do you care so much? He's an insanely successful, famous artist. And by the way, Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. Just so you know.
If that's the all-American halftime show, I don't know, guys. We're losing them, you know.
It was with the country hip-hop stuff, the new...
That was a tough watch. If it is a requirement to pretend to like that, to be like a patriot, I can't do it. I'm just telling you up front. I'm going to be honest with you. Full disclosure, I can't do it. I think I'd rather kill myself than pretend to like that. So you're telling me we're at the Super Bowl party with the normies, with the hoes, with the chuds and the f***s. We're at the Super Bowl watch party. We're having our taquitos. We're having our wings, pizza, watching the big game. Everybody's having a good time. You're telling me we have to turn off the TV, or we have to switch the input. We have to go to the Rumble app and watch some AI ad about alternative medicine. And then we have to watch Kid Rock and this generic country music. And we have to pretend to like this. We have to all be like, this is really good. She's really good.
Yeah, Kid Rock is trash ever.
Our token celebrity. Didn't Kid Rock play the RNC? It's just like a freak show. It's like Amber Rose was there last year 2 years ago at the RNC afternoon. It's
I don't care
controversial.
about this stuff.
But let's be honest. The Bad Bunny halftime show, let's be perfectly honest, it wasn't a militantly woke show. It just wasn't. The way that conservatives were talking about it, I thought it was going to be Drag Queen Story Hour.
Yeah, and it really wasn't. A feminine...
Anti-ice mongering and creating this anxiety about this halftime show. They're like, it's going to be an anti-ice, anti-Trump. They're going to burn the American flag. He's going to be cross-dressing. It's not what it was. And let's take a step back and not look at it through the lens of being a chud that is obsessed with politics. Let's take a step back and look at it through the eyes of a normie. It's like a Latino-themed show. It's like a different theme. And yeah, it's in Spanish, got it. And yeah, it's very Puerto Rican, it's very Latin. But if I'm a normie and I'm watching this, it's basically just an inoffensive, Latin-themed show. And it's not really that political. Obviously, there's a political subtext, and we can get into that.
The most political thing he said was, something about America being all of America, not just the USA, being all of America together. I don't even know if you can call that political. It was a very uniting message at the end. And yeah, he had a football, he was dancing, there were hot girls, there was a clip, a snippet where two guys were dancing on each other and they freaked out about that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and no one thinks or whatever would be
mass deportations and the phenomenon of ICE removals, which heavily target Hispanics. The significance is not lost on anybody that you have the celebration of Latin America and it's in Spanish. And we know this artist's politics. This Bad Bunny character, I don't think any white Americans know who he is, listen to him. this is an artist for Latin Americans in the United States.
That's not true. It depends like what scene you're at. Like if you're big into the dance scene or like kind of club scene, or you just listen to modern music, you know who Bad Bunny is. Plus, all the women think he is drop dead sexy. So there's that.
States outside the United States. And so to have this guy, and also we know his politics in particular, he said fuck ICE at the Grammys and all that. And then at the end, he comes out with all the different flags from Latin America. Love triumphs over hate. Of course, there is a subtext. I understand that. But if you step outside of yourself as a chud that, like I said, you're obsessed with politics, and you go into the big social outing of the year, the Super Bowl watch party, and you can't stop thinking about politics and Trump and, you know, this kind of stuff, if you're a normie and you're watching it, it's basically inoffensive.
Yeah, and I saw a funny comment about this.
Like the show was taunting me. I didn't feel like it was antagonizing me. I didn't feel that it was defiant. I didn't feel like it was militant or anti-American. I think that it was actually, and I say this from the point of view of what it is propositionally, it's positive. And I don't mean by that.
It's crazy I'm agreeing with Nick Fuentes, but yes, it was a very positive halftime show. Ugh.
That it's good. I mean that it was a positive message, and the message was the U.S. and Canada and all the countries of the Americas were celebrating all the people.
Oh man, the
conservatives and Christians, and it was about giving them the middle finger and deliberately taunting them and antagonizing them and reveling in how antagonistic they were being.
There was even a wedding. That was a real wedding that happened. Like, it was just celebration. It was just a celebration of people, of America, of his heritage, of that lifestyle, of the Super Bowl. It was just, yeah, positive is a good word to describe the overall vibe of that halftime show. Hopefully we're getting to the
like
part.
The mirror image of that, and rather it was celebrating the diversity of the Latin Americans. And it was a propositionally positive message. And arguably, there was even, you could say, an olive branch saying God bless America. Arguably, that's a political thing in itself, but waving the U.S. flag, throwing that in there, not having it loaded up with degeneracy, not having it completely loaded up with, LGBT type stuff or feminist stuff.
Yeah, like if you're an imperialist and you have to
like an who is not aligned or a chud could actually watch it and plausibly not feel like they're being attacked. Now, why do I point this out? A lot of people are not going to like me saying this because people are going to say, well, what are you talking about? It's in Spanish. It's cultural imperialism. They are brown and they're speaking Spanish and that's anti-white, et cetera, et cetera. And I get all that. Here's the reason why I'm saying this. We have to reconcile and come to terms with the fact that the left is a different animal today than it was 5 years ago. Something changed 5 years ago. The culture began to shift. And I think it started around 2021. After Joe Biden was inaugurated, and this is in the middle of the pandemic, and it's after BLM and the riots, and you have the Ukraine war, which starts a year later in 2022. You have a lot of criticism of critical race theory. It's right around this time that I think the culture fully shifted or began to shift. And it began to shift because people saw the contradictions inherent in wokeism. And what were those contradictions? So they had everybody posting the black square, Black Lives Matter, BLM, he can't breathe. But then at the same time, everybody saw the riots and the summer of love and the crime, and they saw what abolishing the police looks like. They also saw a lot of anti-white hatred. And so people started to say, wait a second.
I think there was a shift. I think it's a little bit after what he's talking about, and I don't think anything he's talking about right here is specifically what did it. I think it just got a little bit too crazy and annoying with the identity politics. And I don't just mean with race, I mean everything. it just got a little bit too much in your face everywhere, to the point where it was ridiculous, and people were like, this isn't really feasible or necessary. We can fight for trans rights, we can fight for gay rights, we can fight for Black rights, like helping the Black community and police brutality and all of that, without being so hyper identity politics all the time. I think that's really what it was. We started to see like really crazy people coming out and saying crazy things. Like especially like with the sports and like trans people in sports, and if we're talking about like kids, I still think the whole like trans stuff with the elementary schools was blown out of proportion, but some of that like was happening, and I think people were like, okay, that's too far. Like I think most people were like, yeah, that's unnecessary. So I think we did get to that point, and the left has calmed down from that. You know what I mean? People were rightly upset, and it just, the movement got taken over by the radicals is really what happened. So, yeah.
To the extent that a normie believes in wokeism, which is equality and anti-racism and kumbaya and all this, tolerance, pluralism, people said this doesn't really work. Because on the one hand, we are saying equality and tolerance and this sort of thing. I can't breathe. At the same time, in effect, it is anti-white and it's crime. And it's actually just...
yeah, like that has nothing to do with it. Black Lives Matter was never anti-white. The George Floyd situation was fucked up. It was unjustified. The riots, I mean, that happens with any big like political movement. Lots of times that happens. But yeah, most of the Black Lives Matter protests were peaceful. The ones that got the media attention were the ones where stores were destroyed and blah, 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 blah. And obviously some of that happened in Black communities, and it ended up hurting, those riots ended up hurting Black people the most, because it was their own stores that were being looted. So yeah, that was obviously stupid, but like I said, the majority of those protests were peaceful. So I don't think that had anything to do with the shift in the left, really, at all. But that's my opinion. I think it's more of the hijacking of the radicals in the media, and eventually more moderate, just regular liberals wanted to speak up and be like, they don't represent us. This does not represent us.
Making everybody out to be a hypocrite and making everybody out to look stupid. Here everybody was sympathetic, raising the fist, taking the knee, posting the square. And what did these Black people do? They then burned down the city. And actually, the BLM organization was stealing from everybody. Not only did they burn down the city, but they actually burned down their own city. So on the one hand, you're arguing that we need a better quality of life for Black people. How do we do that? Let's destroy all the infrastructure.
Okay, this is not the part I wanted to cover.
That we're raising the flag for democracy in 2017 and 2018. All of this futurist female, anti-white, global citizen type stuff that we saw then, I think the normies caught up about 5 or 6 years later. And they saw the censorship, the foreign wars, the lockdowns, the BLM crap, the anti-whiteness, and I think
doubling down on anti-white hate is
like a post-woke left-wing comedian, where they can present as a chud. They can present.
I wish I could just find the clip, but it's so hard to find Nick Fuentes clips because there's so fucking many of them, and he looks the same in every single one. And I know it's in here though. Hold on.
Before, I also think about Kamala Harris's election, gay-coded, and it was for faggots and pussies. But there was this, clearly there's a shift happening. And what would you say the shift is? They have integrated this into their worldview. And they've sort of taken MAGA, which is an appeal to the white working class, and you could say it's an authenticity. It's a level of performative vulgarity. I think of J.D. Vance, who works in swear words into his speeches. Everything is, I was talking to some white dude, and we did some normal shit. Like, it's incorporating this sort of thing into the repertoire. And so the Democrats and the left are sort of taking multiculturalism. They're taking left-wing economic populism, which is this anti-millionaire and billionaire thing, anti-capitalist thing. They're taking their left-wing program and they're integrating into it the MAGA hat. They're integrating into it maybe a looser, their own values.
Well, let me see if I can get the transcript and find the part. Whoop. Nope. God, if I type the word white, it's gonna come up a million times. 50 times. Let's see. Maybe it's this.
Bro, I swear to being a white supremacist. He's like, I'm not, well, maybe not what he said. I think he said
Kid Rock thing that was going on somewhere else. What the fuck was that? I mean, guy ad about like alternative medicine.
All right, we saw this.
England in America. Good point. Good point. I've heard this opinion of complete fucking idiots, and get up out of my seat. Who gives a fuck?
And a tantrum over a halftime show.
Progressive in a way, and increasingly, I don't feel like I fit in with that anymore.
This is the part I want. Okay, hold on. I don't feel. Oops. Is it not in here? I fit in. The fuck? It's not in here? Alright, I guess we'll have to watch this one and just skip over what this guy is saying. So annoying. This is the part I wanted to talk about.
You know, I
moments like this because you guys
when I look at what the movement has become.
Hold on, it's a little bit before this.
That you're smart enough to know really lazy.
Clearly it was political. Clearly it was a middle finger to white people.
All right, so right. This is the part I want to talk about. So he gets a super chat or whatever, a tip. I just noticed the username is I'm gonna grape. That's fucking weird. Grape is obviously a substitute for the word rape, so it sounds fucking rapey. They spent $20 to say the halftime show was in Spanish and all the performers were brown people. The message was, this is what America looks like, a mosaic of Latin peoples. Clearly it was political. Clearly it was a
weird take.
Middle finger to white people. Weird take.
Even a white nationalist at this point?
Are you even a white nationalist at this point? And yeah, so here's Nick's response that I wanted to react to.
Honestly, I don't feel like one anymore. I feel like, you know, do I want America to be a white country? Yes. I'm pro-white, but the movement has just been captured by losers and idiots. And I don't really, I'm kind of just done pandering. I fucking hate these people.
So we have to remember that this is coming shortly after his little controversy. Okay, so we have to remember that this is coming shortly after Nick's little controversy with the Tates and that clavicular face maxing, whatever, looks maxing guy, Sneeko, Myron and Fresh, and that Justin Waller douchebag, where they went to a club and they got, I don't know if they got kicked out, but they ended up getting like banned from the club. The DJ got fired because they played the Hail Hitler song. And they also live streamed playing it on the bus on the way there. But they got the DJ to play it for the entire club and they're having a great time, blah, 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 blah. They obviously got a lot of criticism for that. And, you know, at this club, Nick looked kind of uncomfortable. Obviously, he's not like a club type of guy. I think it was Sneeko was like, hey, do you want me to get you some girls? And he was like, no, please don't. And I think he, you know, he feels like he's more mature than that crowd. But like these are the types of people that are his fans. It is a lot of these red pill manosphere guys. It's a lot of these looks maxing people. It's a lot of Nick hates women. It's a lot of people who hate women, and it's just a lot of honestly like kind of losers, which is probably why they hate women, and because they probably hate themselves and they listen to Nick. Nick is a proclaimed incel, so a lot of his fans are probably incels, and he's probably realizing that these people are not the smart, great leaders that, you know, he thinks he would be cultivating as an audience from what he's saying. Oh my god, I remember something else I wanted to cover, but maybe I'll make that another video at this point. But basically, like, there was a guy who was talking to Not So Erudite about how he wants he wants America to be a white nationalist nation, but he's not even Christian. Yeah, like a white Christian nation, white Christian nationalist nation, and he wasn't even Christian. He just like wants to ban sex work, and it was clearly just like a hatred towards women and women making money on OnlyFans and women being able to do what they want. So he was using Christianity to punish women, I guess, in a sense. And, you know, that's what a lot of these fans really come down to. So I think that, like, situation with Sneeko and Andrew Tate and everything kind of opened his eyes more to that. And maybe he's just been noticing it over a long period of time anyways, based on his chat and the fans he's been meeting in general. And, yeah, that's all I'm going to say for right now. Let's keep watching.
By the way, and like, I mean, what
movement has become, like
that he has to do this.
When I look at what the movement has become, like the kind of impulses that have captured it, it's just kind of depressing. And I've always been forward thinking, and I've always been heterodox, and I've always been progressive in a way, and increasingly I don't feel like I fit in with that anymore, you know? So no, I don't think I'm like you, because now it's turned into, it used to be the case that if you were against white genocide, if you're pro-white, if you're against immigration, like that is what it meant to be on our side. Now it's like you have to be a Republican culture warrior. I have to be spun up about the Super Bowl halftime show.
So I think what's actually happening here is the Republicans and MAGA specifically have gained a lot of media power. Like, it used to be a very liberal-centered media. It's now very the opposite. You have Joe Rogan, Candace Owens, and Tucker Carlson as the largest podcasts in the world regularly for like a long time. And I think Nick, like recently especially, like he went on Piers Morgan. He's been getting a lot of more mainstream media attention. His name is becoming more relevant to the average person and not just like niche political people online. And I think Nick wants to be an outsider. He doesn't want to be like the other boys. He wants to be different. And now that being this like white supremacist, white nationalist, MAGA, you know, whatever, now that that's becoming more cool and that's more in and that's mainstream, he doesn't want to be that anymore. He wants to stick out. He wants to be different. He doesn't want to be in with the in cool group. But now that that's popular, he wants to move away from it. Because he wants to be edgy. He wants to be on the edge, right? I really think that's what most of this comes down to, is people are catching on and he's just, you know, he's not different from everybody else anymore. Everybody is like him now. Everybody wants to be a white Christian. Like everyone, all these big YouTubers, these big podcasts are saying the things that Nick has been saying for a long time. And it's not cool anymore. I think that is a huge part in what he is saying right now.
Nick, this is the logical endpoint of that mindset, right? But like over
low IQ, it's
so in Spanish. Like, of course. How did you not know that?
It's just so low IQ. It's so low
True.
IQ. It's so
true. It is low IQ. That's for shit sure true.
Monotonous, so repetitive. You're screaming at the halftime show because it's in Spanish. Okay, I mean, am I supposed to do this performative outrage? Why?
That's what they want. That's definitely.
So I just don't. No, I don't think I fit in anymore because, you know, I'm telling you this. We've reached a high watermark of that stuff. I've been doing this for 10 years. I was into this before it was popular, before
it was popular, I was doing this, and now it's popular, so, you know, I need to find something else that's different from the main group.
Or it was mainstream, and now it's filled with a bunch of complete fucking idiots, and it's really just turned into signaling that you're a part of an in-group.
It's always been filled with a bunch of idiots. Nick, come on, bro.
This guy's so fucking annoying.
On it. He polled like worst among white people. Hilarious, but let's keep going.
And we're all going to have the same take, and we're all going to have the same opinion, and we're all going to say the same thing, and we're all going to engage in this elaborate performance. I don't know who it.
That is exactly what's happening. Like, when you talk to MAGA people, they say the same thing. First of all, they've been making the same jokes for 5 years. What is a woman? But, like, I forget the other one, but it has to do with the trans stuff, too. Everything is about trans stuff. It's all the same talking points. Literally the same exact views, sometimes verbatim, word for word. It's very much like that. And Nick wants to be an outsider. He wants to be different. He doesn't want to be a part of the crowd. He doesn't want to be a sheep. So he doesn't think it's cool anymore. Even though this is what he has been leading people for, or leading people towards, during his entire career. So I don't know what he expected, honestly. It makes me question if he really believes what he says, or if he is like 100% a shock value content creator. Like, he might he might believe what he says, but he might not be as gun-ho about it as he makes it sound. He just wants to be different and stand out and be like, you know, like shock people. Which is why when he went on Piers Morgan, he was like, yeah, Hitler was fucking cool, and fuck the guy whose parents were literally in World War II. Fuck that guy and fuck his parents. Hitler was fucking cool. And he's like, oh, Joseph Stalin is like my idol. He tries to say these edgy things to shock people. He says these crazy things about putting women in gulags and whatever. Like, women and girls in gulags, and we'll decide which ones are allowed back in society. He just says crazy shit. And does he actually mean it? Like, now I'm honestly really questioning it, because I think he just wants to be an outsider. He wants to be different and special.
It's for why we're all going to perform outrage. We're all going to perform and do the same jokes, and we're all going to have the same.
To be fair, what he's saying here, give a shit about it and
points, and I don't know. It's no longer interesting to me. It's no longer interesting. It's not funny anymore. It's not edgy. It's really just become a drag. At one point, we were the trolls, and now we're the butthurt ones.
See, like, it's all, like, kind of a joke to him. It's all kind of fun and games. He wants to be the edgy outsider. And now he's realizing that all these people are kind of just big pussies and losers, to be quite frank. And it's not cool anymore. Not that it ever was, by the way.
True. There was a point in time when we were having fun and we were laughing and we were trolling and we were making jokes. And now our side are the biggest butthurt of all time. You know, the far right has become the biggest butthurt ever. Everybody's mad all the time. You can't make jokes. Everyone's moral about everything. Purity spiral.
It is true. Again, I hate to agree with Nick Fuentes, but he's right.
And people are, at the end of the day, people don't even really have a vision for what the country should be. I mean, half the people complaining about the halftime show aren't even white nationalists. They don't even know what the fuck they are. They just have these grievances. They don't care if America... Do you think Megyn Kelly gives a shit if America's white or not? Megyn Kelly is bitching about it. Like, you think Megyn Kelly is based? Megyn Kelly's screaming, the Super Bowl should be unifying. It should be in English. You think Megyn Kelly's a white nationalist? She isn't. She's just pandering to, like, I don't know, this, like, really bitter, like, white resentment politics.
That right there is huge in what's going on. Pandering to bitter people who have resentment towards minorities, women, gay people, trans people, anybody who's not them. That's exactly what's happening. And I've been saying this for a while. Republicans pander towards people's insecurities and their hatred. They love to rile up insecure, angry, usually young men. That's what's been going on. And it works. These people are emotional, and in some cases they might have a reason to feel the way they do. They might have genuine reasons for the way they feel. And lots of these Republican famous people, content creators, podcasters, voices, they exploit that. They exploit their insecurities, they exploit their hate, they exploit their anger to make them feel heard and ultimately to make money. That's what it comes down to. Because none of these people that talk about this shit would want to live in the actual world that they speak of. This, like, crazy fantasy about a dictatorship where everything is just, like, strict Christian rule. None of these people want to actually live in that world. I don't know, like, maybe Nick actually does, but I don't even know that, because he doesn't even really live a traditional Christian lifestyle. So yeah, I think it's all a cope. Lots of it is a grift for the money, for the fame, and yeah.
And I've always said this. I want to imagine a better future. I'm actually a progressive. And this kind of like Oliver Anthony, Matt Walsh, like knuckle dragging, like bitter ass face thing. We're all going to be grumpy and mad. I've never been on board with that. I've always seen it as defeatist and fucking pathetic and basically just this big loser mentality. So, yeah, you know.
Basically what Nick is saying is he wants to be an edgy troll. He wants to be an edgy internet troll for the rest of his life. And that's his political career, which is fucking crazy, by the way. He wants to be a cool kid. He wants to be the cool, edgy, funny, class clown guy. It's just weird.
The halftime show was in Spanish. Oh, I didn't know that. You're telling me for the first time. It's like, okay. The message was America is full of Latin people. Well, you know, it is. So, I mean, are we gonna, or do we live in reality?
Oh, the other white Mexican.
America's full of Mexicans. Okay, America is like a quarter Hispanic. So, like, I don't know, like, get real? It was clearly a middle finger to white people. You know, I didn't really feel like that at all. It just, that message wasn't really there. But you see what you want to see, and you can go on fucking Oliver Anthony Island and be, I don't know, seething about it. But yeah, this whole halftime show, all these various events over the past 6 months, it's just like, get me out of here. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
Bro's having a midlife crisis. Fuck, I picked the wrong.
Helps out big time in the algorithm.
All right, so yeah, that was the video I actually wanted to react to, or the clip. And you know what? I kind of want to react to the other thing that I was just talking about because it kind of has to do with this.
On a radicalism pipe.
Alright,
we should.
This video is an hour long though, so maybe I won't start it now.
This is just proving the point that you still talked about this problem despite not having a long history of.
Well, the issue. I don't think that like people who supply like. What's his name?
The creator
What's
of the
his name?
business.
What's his name?
I don't know his name. When it helps people, when it makes.
Ultimate punishment.
What if you couldn't do that? Like.
Alright, you know what? Yeah, it's almost 1 in the morning here, so I'm going to save this for next time. So yeah, I'll have that to stream next. But it's Not So Yerdite who talked to a Christian nationalist who wasn't actually Christian. So I thought it was a really interesting conversation. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna end the stream then. Please like the video if you like the video. Subscribe, you know, all that jazz, whatever. I'm gonna actually play my outro for once, because I never do it anymore. Alright, good night guys, thank you, bye.